These people called congressmen, the Black Caucus, pretend that they are the ones to carry on the civil rights fight. But all they are doing is catering to another layer of bigotry and hate. But this is a black hate, not white. Martin Luther King Jr. walked the streets at a time when America was changing. He grabbed a hold of a movement that was long in coming, and for his efforts he died. He followed John Fitzgerald Kennedy, a white man in death. He followed Robert Fitzgerald Kennedy, a white man in death. The three of them believed in equality because every man should have the same chances in life. And even though affirmative action was signed into law in the midst of their deaths, they knew it was needed to bring every race to the table to make up for the centuries past. But this legislation, though billed as righteous for a period of years, it created a different layer of discrimination because for a black man to succeed and have a chance to catch up, another group of men who were white had to give up their own rights to equality. Two men could not hold the same job, so one was pushed to the side because of a preferential color that was written into the law in 1965. We freely accepted the terms of this law, but never truly realized that there were people that didn't want just equality, but rather punishment for the crimes of bringing their ancestors to this country at the time of slavery. This law could have been acceptable for a period of 10 years, 20 years, or 30. But we have reached a period of 50 years, and it appears that the black community has no intention of brokering in true equality, while they continue plying guilt on the innocent. Martin Luther King Jr., John Fitzgerald Kennedy, and his brother Robert Fitzgerald Kennedy, though, would have said in unison, "Enough is enough," because affirmative action was written to remedy a wrong, not to make one people superior to another. Equality to these men would have simply been that we are Americans. We back each other up, no matter what color, while we build a strong nation together. These members of the Black Caucus, currently riding in their car, have forgotten that Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream was of equality, not of a picture of some kids leading while the others had to follow. Equality is equality in America. No color has to follow, while every color has the opportunity to lead. But today is a different day for these old race baiters. They have forgotten the past. They have forgotten the virtue that has brought them to where they are today. They no longer look for the common good as they drive through a poor white neighborhood, never flinch an eye because they do not recognize the living, breathing creature present by virtue of them not being their constituents. They are not black, so they are not as equal as their own ethnic constituents hope to be. The Congressional Black Caucus does not see a concern in their way of life, because all of these children were white, Hispanic, or Asian, and they are not riding the tide of prejudice. If it were a black child, there would be certainty of rescue. We will link our arms together as we sing hymns that chastise those that enslave, but we forgot that God is the one that judges. For these politicians to display a concerning eye to the other disadvantaged races would show that everyone deserves to be equal, either in poverty or wealth. Old age and memories make the bad times of the past seem like they are still significant in the present. Unfortunately, while we cry in our tea, Because of how bad we have it in America, people around the world are dying by the thousands. Yet we have those alive today that want us to relive our past, even though our future is more worth a look and the world a better place to improve upon. Pigmentation of the skin should not hold any weight in pursuing a long life. Dividing races is a ploy used by many religious and ethnic leaders for the purpose of obtaining more power than they deserve. Poverty to them is the only weapon necessary in achieving their goal. Unfortunately, poverty knows no color. But do not forget your tights in our plates. We might blame the rich for our circumstance, but unfortunately that is what every person in this country wishes to be. These congressmen look at poor white families standing on street corners begging for food. They drive by gas stations where white men stand with window cleaner in one hand and a rag in the other. They smile because the substitution of poverty is taking place. They look at the white high school quarterback that has to take a back seat to a black athlete for racial equality. You do not have a right to a memory long gone, to a position you held but did not earn. Denzel's wish is that he can say anything he wants and it's acceptable, but to refute his word is intolerable. And the character Will Patton played earned his place as the Titans coach. You didn't. We will never have racial equality if people believe they deserve special exceptions. Oprah thought she was funding the rights of girls to have an education in Africa, but in actuality, she was financing prejudice that was going to hurt more African women than Oprah wished to protect. Young boys lacking education become soldiers harboring hate, and their interpretations of their life cause them to remember the abuse. America's view of the world is twisted towards the unreasonable and impractical. Miss Winfrey's belief that she is making a difference has allowed resentment to flourish. Boko Haram has seized hundreds of girls for trying to gain an education, while the soldiers who carried out the atrocity didn't care, because it wasn't their education to lose. America, though, has forgotten more about goodness than these evildoers have to gain, because we have put our Western values in a scientific and social world up against the Lord. And then we don't understand why these people believe so much in the hereafter. But if all they have is sickness and death, why should they care about our feelings, our desires? We think women should have a chance to improve. But improve from what? They are already the most revered creatures in the world, and men will fight wars over them. But our minds seem to be closed to the obvious, and that is a woman has the most important job in the world, and that is the birthing of a child. A man has almost the same importance in his job, and that is to support and protect the woman from the moment of conception to birth and then thereafter. These two people and their offspring are a family that is necessary to continue our way of life. The world is made up of a lot of religions where the people still wholeheartedly pray. But America today is made up of less religious people, but more social conscience and awareness. Unfortunately, the people of the world might wish to be us for prosperity reasons, but their faith is in a higher power is stronger than their desire to turn away from their personal beliefs. We might push our thoughts onto them in a technological manner, but we will lose unless we ourselves regain a strong belief in religion, and then we will never lose.